Have you ever wondered if your words and actions, despite being rooted in boundless love, might inadvertently cause your child long-term difficulties? As parents, we always want to give our children the best. We want to protect them, guide them, and help them overcome life's challenges. But sometimes, what we think is right and good could actually be the very thing that hinders their growth without us even realizing it. In our journey as parents, many decisions are made with the belief that they will help our children grow stronger. We might share family issues in hopes that it will help them understand and mature. We might unintentionally set high expectations without realizing we haven't clearly communicated them. And sometimes, we just want to shield them from failures and life's hardships, not knowing that this can actually impede their development of independence and confidence. These are mistakes that anyone can make, and they can be so small that they go unnoticed, but their consequences might be far greater than we expect. That's why, in this video, I will reveal 9 common mistakes that parents often make while raising their children. These mistakes may seem minor or insignificant, but they can have a profound impact on your child's future. You might be surprised to discover that you've made some of these mistakes unknowingly. But the goal isn't to criticize or blame yourself. It's to become aware and change, to become wiser and better parents. And the most intriguing part lies at the end of this video, the biggest mistake many parents never realize. It could be the mistake that has silently impacted your child for many years without you knowing. I'll reveal it to you, and it may completely change the way you perceive parenting. To better understand how small mistakes can create significant impacts on children, I want to share with you the story of Lisa, a loving and dedicated mother of 2. Lisa is a modern mother who believes that absolute honesty within the family is key to building a strong and close relationship with her children. She doesn't hesitate to share everything in her life, from financial difficulties to marital conflicts. Lisa believes that openness will help her children mature and understand real life. But there's one thing she didn't foresee. Sometimes, sharing too much or at the wrong time can create unintended consequences. What happened to Lisa and her family? Let's delve deeper into her story and discover important lessons from Stoic philosophy, one of the ancient philosophies that remains profoundly relevant and practical for parenting today. Stoicism not only teaches us how to live a resilient life in the face of adversity, but also offers smart and subtle approaches to raising children, ways that can help them grow strong without unnecessary pressure or worries. Lisa made one of the most common mistakes parents encounter, sharing too much about the family's financial difficulties with her children. She thought transparency would help her kids mature and better understand the value of money. But in reality, her children began to feel pressured and anxious about things they weren't equipped to fully understand or control. This is a classic example of how seemingly small mistakes can have a significant impact on a child's mindset and development. And Lisa's case isn't unique. In today's modern world, many parents make similar mistakes. We want our children to be mature, knowledgeable, and capable of facing life. But we don't realize that the invisible pressures we create can overwhelm them. That's why recognizing and adjusting these mistakes is the first step towards helping our children grow in a healthy and free environment. I want to invite you to join me on this journey of exploring these 9 mistakes. Each section of the video will delve into specific aspects, not only through Lisa's story, but also through the valuable lessons from Stoic philosophy. The teachings of Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus will offer us clearer insights, helping us better understand how our daily actions can affect our children in the long run. Are you ready to change your perspective on parenting? Are you ready to learn from your mistakes and apply wise principles to create a better nurturing environment for your children? If so, let's explore each mistake in detail and find ways to correct them together. From financial pressures to unclear expectations and even comparing your child with others, each mistake will be thoroughly analyzed through the lens of Stoic philosophy. This won't just be a typical educational video, but a deep journey to help you reassess your role in shaping your child's character and future. And remember, the most captivating part will be at the end of the video, where we will explore the greatest mistake that you may have never considered, but one that could have the biggest impact on your child. Stay with me and let's uncover it together. Part 1. The danger of excessive financial sharing. After introducing Lisa's story, let's start with the first mistake she made, one that many parents unknowingly fall into: sharing too much about the family's financial situation. Lisa firmly believed that transparency is the key to building a close-knit family. She thought that her children needed to understand the family's financial situation to become more responsible. However, one day, she accidentally revealed to her children that the family was facing financial difficulties and might not have enough money to pay the bills for the month. Lisa didn't anticipate that this would make her children anxious and stressed. They began asking, "Mom, are we going to lose our house?" This tension changed the atmosphere at home. The children couldn't sleep and struggled to focus on their studies. Lisa gradually realized that sharing the family's financial details not only increased pressure on her children, but also made them feel burdened by problems they weren't meant to bear. Like many other parents, Lisa wanted her children to be aware of their responsibilities and understand the value of money. She believed that if her children were aware of the family's financial situation, they would learn to save, avoid waste, and be more responsible with their own spending. However, Lisa didn't foresee that by sharing too many details, including the worries she and her husband were dealing with, it could have a negative impact. Finances are always a sensitive issue, and when it involves family, the story becomes even more complex. For adults, financial matters are a reality everyone has to face. From managing monthly expenses and making reasonable purchases to handling debt and saving for the future. For children, however, finances are not something they can fully comprehend. Children live in a world where parents are in control of everything. They trust that their parents can handle it all, from putting food on the table to paying the monthly bills and providing a safe home. When parents share details about financial difficulties, children may feel as though their safe world is being shaken. This creates anxiety, fear, and a sense of insecurity that children aren't mature enough to handle. Children do not yet have the capacity to understand complex financial principles or the importance of balancing a budget. When they hear about financial difficulties, they can easily become worried about the future, even imagining worst-case scenarios such as losing their home, not having enough money to live on, or having to change schools. This not only affects their mental state, but can also decrease their focus on studies, leading to prolonged stress and anxiety. Lisa realized that her well-intended actions, being transparent and honest with her children, unintentionally forced them to face problems beyond their control. Instead of feeling safe and protected, Lisa's children began to worry about the family's financial struggles, causing distractions and even sleepless nights due to fear. This is one of the harmful effects of oversharing financial matters with children. Marcus Aurelius, one of the great Stoic philosophers, once said, "Do not worry about what you cannot control." This is an important lesson not only for adults, but also valuable when applied to parenting. Children lack the ability to handle complex stress like adults. Rather than revealing too much about financial struggles, parents should focus on teaching children simple and positive financial principles. Instead of sharing that the family is struggling and doesn't have enough money to pay bills, Lisa could have taken a different approach. A simple example is when the children ask for an expensive item. Rather than saying, "We don't have enough money for this," Lisa could say, "We're saving money for a better future." This teaches children the value of saving without making them feel insecure or anxious. Teaching children about money is necessary, but the key lies in how we share. Children need to feel that, despite any difficulties, the family will still be fine and safe. Parents should create a psychologically safe space where children feel protected and don't have to worry about problems beyond their control. Instead of sharing their worries, parents can help their children understand financial management in a gentle and positive way. An important part of parenting is knowing when to share and when to hold back. Not all information needs to be shared with children, especially those that may cause unnecessary anxiety. Parents must learn to choose the right information to share while guiding their children towards positive solutions rather than focusing solely on problems. For example, instead of talking about debts or difficulties in paying bills, parents can teach their children how to create a personal budget. Teaching kids to save money through small chores at home, or guiding them in managing their pocket money, is an excellent way for them to learn about the value of money without feeling pressured by the family's financial struggles. Another crucial aspect of teaching children about finances is encouraging independence. Children need to understand that money is something earned through effort and work, not something readily available. Parents can teach their children to save from an early age, involving them in small activities like selling old toys or helping out at home to earn pocket money. This not only helps children grasp the value of labor, but also fosters independent thinking and reduces reliance on the family's finances too early. Lisa's story serves as an important reminder to parents. While sharing and being transparent with children is vital, such sharing must have limits and be appropriate to the child's age and understanding. Oversharing can create unnecessary pressure and anxiety, negatively affecting their mental and physical development. Instead, parents should aim to teach children basic financial values, helping them develop a healthy financial mindset without creating psychological burdens. Balancing transparency and protection is the key to effective parenting and helping children grow stronger. What can we learn from this mistake? It's about sharing wisely and with boundaries. Lisa's next mistake will help you understand another aspect of parenting, handling family conflicts without letting your children get caught up in negative emotions. Part 2. Family conflicts. Don't turn your child into an unofficial counselor. In every family, conflicts are inevitable. However, how we face and handle these conflicts not only affects the relationship between parents, but also deeply impacts the children. Today, we'll explore a common mistake parents make, especially when family tensions escalate, unintentionally turning children into unofficial counselors during conflicts between parents. Lisa and her husband, like many couples, had their disagreements in everyday life. But one night, after a heated argument about their schedules and family responsibilities, Lisa unintentionally involved the children. In a moment of frustration, she told her children, "Your father is never home. He never understands or helps me." That statement, although it may have been just a venting remark in a moment of anger, had a significant impact on the children's emotions. Lisa's children, who were innocent and unaware of the complexities of married life and work, began to feel anxious and tense. They started taking on the unofficial role of psychological counselors for their mother, trying to make her happy and soothe the conflicts between their parents. This not only increased the tension in the household, but also placed an unnecessary emotional burden on the children. Conflicts are a natural part of any relationship, especially in family life. But what many parents don't realize is that children neither have the ability nor should bear the responsibility of solving adult problems. They are not mature enough to understand that every conflict between their parents does not mean the family is on the verge of breaking apart. For children, tensions between their parents can create feelings of insecurity, worry, and even fear about the future. In Lisa's case, when she confided in her children about her conflict with her husband, the children felt they needed to do something to help their mother. They began to take her side, worrying that their family was in danger. Instead of having a safe and stable home environment, Lisa's children now had to face stresses and pressures they were not equipped to handle. Seneca, one of the most renowned Stoic philosophers, once said, "A wise person knows when to remain silent." This is a profound lesson for parents when dealing with conflicts at home. The silence here doesn't mean avoiding or hiding conflicts, but rather knowing when and where to address them. Conflicts between parents should be resolved in private spaces where children are not exposed to the emotional fallout. Stoic philosophy teaches that each individual should control their emotions and not let negative feelings dictate their actions. In Lisa's case, she could have restrained her anger and avoided complaining about her husband in front of the children. Instead of turning them into unofficial counselors, she should have sought to resolve her conflicts with her husband privately and respectfully. This not only protects the children's mental well-being, but also maintains stability within the family. When children are drawn into their parents' conflicts, they start to lose their sense of safety and peace at home. The home, which should be a place where children feel protected and secure, now becomes a space filled with tension and anxiety. They may feel compelled to take sides, usually the mother's, and this not only weakens family relationships, but can also affect the child's emotional development. Over time, children caught in their parents' conflicts may develop psychological issues like anxiety, stress, or even depression. They can become overly sensitive to every argument or tension at home, and instead of focusing on learning, playing, and growing like other children, they face unnecessary negative emotions. Turning children into unofficial counselors not only harms them, but can also erode the relationship between parents and children. Children may feel responsible for their parents' happiness, and this creates an unfair, invisible burden that children should not have to bear. Conflict is a natural part of any relationship, but how we handle it can make a huge difference for our children. Rather than drawing children into adult conflicts, parents need to learn to manage their emotions and choose the right time and place to address their issues. One of the most effective ways to protect children from stress is to establish a clear rule: never argue in front of the children. All disagreements and conflicts should be kept private and resolved away from the children's eyes and ears. This not only protects their mental health, but also helps maintain a peaceful and stable family environment. However, this doesn't mean that parents should completely hide everything from their children. Depending on their age and level of understanding, children also need to know about family relationships. But sharing must be done wisely and with limits. Instead of discussing stressful details, parents can explain to their children that every relationship has its disagreements, but that doesn't mean the family is in danger. The most important thing is to help children understand that all conflicts can be resolved through empathy, listening, and love. Instead of making them feel like they need to intervene or choose sides, parents should convey the message that the family is still fine and everyone is working together to overcome the difficulties. A peaceful family is not one without conflicts, but one that knows how to resolve conflicts wisely and effectively. When parents keep their children away from unnecessary stress and prevent them from becoming unofficial counselors, they create a safe and stable environment where children can grow and thrive. Family peace not only helps children grow mentally, but also strengthens the bond between parents and children. When children are not burdened with undue pressures, they can focus on learning, developing problem-solving skills, and handling situations more naturally and comfortably. Stoic philosophy not only teaches us about the importance of remaining silent at the right times, but also emphasizes the ability to control our emotions. One of the fundamental principles of Stoicism is not to let negative emotions dominate our actions. This is especially important for parents who need to control their personal emotions and not let them affect their children. In Stoic teachings, it is often said, you cannot control what happens around you, but you can control how you respond to it. Parents should apply this principle when facing conflicts in the family, always remaining calm and not letting negative emotions take over. This not only protects the children from stress, but also helps parents maintain a healthy mindset and good relationships with one another. After understanding the importance of not drawing children into family conflicts, we will move on to another mistake, one that is often overlooked but can have a profound impact on a child's psychology. This is the mistake of sharing too much about one's past with children without careful consideration. Let's explore this in the next section. Part 3. The past best left unspoken. Everyone has a past, and as we grow, we may have made mistakes that we would rather not revisit. Yet sometimes, in our sincerity and desire to share, parents inadvertently reveal past stories they believe will offer valuable lessons to their children. However, not every story is suitable to be told, and not every lesson will be understood as intended. Today, we'll talk about a common mistake many parents make: oversharing past events that are best left unspoken. One evening, Lisa's family gathered around the dinner table. The meal was going as usual, but deep inside, Lisa felt an urge to share with her children a lesson from her own life. She believed that her story would help them better understand the consequences of poor choices and learn a valuable lesson. Lisa began to recount her college days when she had once cheated on an important exam to avoid being expelled. She described in detail the anxiety, the pressure, and the feeling of despair she experienced before making that decision. She thought that by confessing her mistake, her children would understand the value of honesty and the consequences of doing wrong. Lisa believed that this story would serve as a profound lesson for her children, a living example of why one should not stray onto the wrong path. However, the children's reaction was entirely different from what Lisa had anticipated. Instead of learning from the story, they felt confused and even somewhat disappointed. One of them asked, "Mom, you always taught us to be honest, but you cheated?" The question hit Lisa like a shock. She started to realize that while her intentions were good, the story from her past was hurting her image in her children's eyes. In Stoic philosophy, Epictetus once said, "We should only share what is truly necessary." This applies not only in everyday life, but is also highly relevant in parenting. Children, with their still developing understanding, cannot always grasp the deeper messages that adults wish to convey. Sometimes, what parents see as valuable lessons can be misunderstood in ways that create unintended negative emotions. Oversharing past mistakes can diminish a parent's value in the eyes of their children, causing them to question the principles they were taught. Children often look up to their parents as role models, symbols of moral perfection and integrity. When that facade is pulled down, the resulting disappointment can harm family relationships and even erode the child's trust in their parents. Why should some past events be left unspoken? Everyone's past has its highs and lows, imperfect moments that define who we are today. But not all stories from the past need to be shared with children. The main reason lies in the difference in understanding and perception between children and adults. Children, especially when they are young, often lack the ability to grasp the complexities of adult situations. They tend to see everything in absolute terms. Something is either right or wrong. When a child hears about a parent's past wrongdoing, especially if it contradicts the moral teachings they've received, it can create confusion. In Lisa's case, although her intention was to teach her children about the consequences of cheating, the children only saw a contradiction between what their mother said and what she had done. Parents are figures of trust and reliance for their children. When parents confess to major mistakes, especially those involving moral decisions, children can feel deceived. In Lisa's case, her story of cheating not only damaged her image, but also made her children question her honesty. This can erode trust and weaken the parent-child relationship. One of the critical skills that parents need to develop is the ability to choose which information to share and which to keep private. This isn't about hiding the truth, but protecting the relationship and the child's psychological well-being. When to share? When the story brings appropriate educational value, if a past story can help children understand a lesson about morality or life values without harming the family relationship, it might be appropriate to share. However, parents should ensure that the children are old enough and mature enough to understand the deeper meaning of the story. When the children are ready to listen, a child's psychological readiness is crucial. Only when they are mature enough to differentiate and assess right from wrong should parents consider sharing complex past stories. When not to share. When the story could harm trust. If the story could diminish the parent's image in the eyes of the child, it's better left unspoken. Children need a solid image of their parents to rely on during their development. When the story lacks clear benefits, not every past story needs to be told. Parents should carefully consider whether the story provides clear educational value without causing negative effects. An essential thing for parents to remember is that their perception and experiences of life may differ greatly from their children's generation. Mistakes that once served as valuable lessons for parents may not be interpreted the same way by children. In Lisa's case, she believed her cheating story would be an important lesson for her children. But the children lacked the ability to differentiate between learning from mistakes and feeling betrayed by the parent they admired. The generational and perceptual differences are key reasons why parents need to be more cautious in sharing past stories. What may be meaningful for adults might not carry the same significance for children. Instead of focusing on recounting their own mistakes, parents can guide their children through more positive lessons. Rather than narrating personal errors, parents can impart moral values through other stories, from books, movies, or lessons from other people. For example, instead of sharing her cheating story, Lisa could tell her children about historical figures who faced difficult decisions and overcame them with integrity. These stories not only provide an educational message, but also help children understand the value of honesty without damaging the parent-child relationship. Lisa's story is a testament to how, at times, oversharing about the past can lead to unintended consequences. Although she had good intentions, the way she shared caused her children to misunderstand and question their perception of their mother. Through this, we learn that not every story should be told, and parents must carefully select what information is appropriate to share with their children. Epictetus taught, "Only share what is truly necessary." In parenting, this means parents should be cautious and discerning with their information to ensure that past stories do not harm trust and relationships with their children. After understanding why some past events are best left unspoken, let's explore another mistake that many families may unknowingly commit. This is the habit of comparing children with others, an action that seems harmless but can cause deep emotional wounds. Part 4. Comparing children. A double-edged sword. As parents, we all want our children to become the best versions of themselves, to reach their full potential, and achieve success in life. However, during the parenting journey, we often find ourselves unintentionally comparing our children to others, without realizing that this action can cause deep emotional wounds. Comparing may seem simple and harmless, but it carries hidden negative consequences, especially when a child begins to feel that they aren't good enough in their parents' eyes. Today, let's take a closer look at the fourth mistake Lisa made, comparing her son to her friends' children. This isn't just Lisa's story, but a common mistake that many parents have made or are making. Let's explore how comparison can act as a double-edged sword, both hurting the child who is compared and creating unnecessary pressure on the child being praised. Lisa is a loving mother who always wants her son to develop fully and confidently in all areas. However, in a moment of carelessness, she made a mistake that many parents often encounter. One afternoon, after her son came home from an unsuccessful soccer game, Lisa said, "Why can't you play as well as Tom?" In that moment, Lisa thought she was simply encouraging her son to try harder. But she didn't realize that her words had left a deep wound in her son's heart. he felt hurt, insecure, and began to doubt his abilities. The feeling that he wasn't good enough or couldn't meet his mother's expectations caused him to withdraw and gradually lose confidence in participating in sports. Lisa wasn't the only parent to find herself in this situation. Comparing is a natural reaction when we want our children to improve, but many don't realize the long-term negative effects it can have on a child. Consequences of comparison: creating insecurity and loss of confidence. Comparing a child to others, even with the intention of encouraging or pushing them to improve, often makes the child feel inadequate. In Lisa's story, when she compared her son to Tom, she didn't realize that her son perceived it as his mother's disappointment. Children are very sensitive to their parents' remarks, and when they feel they cannot meet expectations, they lose confidence. Many children who are constantly compared tend to withdraw, feeling they can never do better, and gradually losing faith in themselves. This not only affects their personal development, but also reduces their ability to explore and fulfill their potential in the future. Creating unhealthy competition among siblings or friends. Comparing siblings within a family or children with their friends can lead to jealousy and unhealthy competition. Children who are compared often feel inferior, while those who are praised are pressured to maintain their high standing in their parents' eyes. In many cases, these comparisons can strain relationships between siblings or friends, creating negative emotions like jealousy, resentment, and feelings of neglect. Children may start to feel they always have to compete to gain their parents' attention and love, rather than experiencing unconditional love from their family. Creating pressure for the praised child. It's not just the child being compared who suffers. Even the child being praised can feel the pressure. When a child is constantly compared and praised in front of siblings or friends, they may feel burdened to always maintain their superior position in their parents' eyes. This pressure can lead to stress, anxiety, and fear of not living up to family expectations. Impacting parent-child relationships. Constant comparisons not only affect a child's psychology, but can also damage the relationship between parents and children. Children need to feel loved and accepted unconditionally by their parents. When children feel they are always being compared and failing to meet their parents' expectations, they may become distant and find it harder to open up about the struggles they are facing. In Lisa's story, after comparing her son to Tom, she noticed that her son started talking less with her, becoming more reserved and no longer as happy as before. This made Lisa realize that her actions had hurt her son more than she had thought. Seneca, one of the famous Stoic philosophers, once said, "We should only compare ourselves with who we were yesterday." This philosophy encourages each person not to compare themselves to others, but instead focus on self-improvement and growth. This is a valuable lesson that parents can apply in raising their children. Instead of comparing their children to others, parents should encourage them to reflect on themselves, compare with what they achieved previously, and set goals for self-improvement. This not only allows children to develop naturally according to their abilities, but also helps them gain more confidence in themselves without being pressured by the success of others. How to encourage without comparing. Focus on the child's personal progress. Every child grows at their own pace and has their own abilities. Parents need to remember that no two children are the same, and setting common standards for comparison only diminishes a child's confidence and motivation. Instead of comparing their child to others, parents should encourage them to reflect on their own achievements and feel proud of their progress. For instance, Lisa could have said to her son, "I saw how hard you tried in today's game. I'm so proud of your effort." This not only encourages the child, but also helps them understand that personal effort and growth are more important than the achievements of others. Set realistic and achievable goals for the child. One of the reasons for comparisons is when parents set unrealistic and high expectations for their children. This makes children feel pressured and more likely to be compared to those who achieve more. To avoid this, parents should set realistic goals that align with each child's abilities and needs. Create a non-competitive environment. Within the family, parents should foster an environment where each child feels loved and accepted unconditionally. Encourage cooperation and support among siblings instead of creating rivalry and competition. When children feel accepted as they are, they will be more confident and less pressured by the success of others. Celebrate each child's uniqueness. Every child is unique, with their own talents and interests. Rather than comparing their children to others, parents should celebrate the individuality and strengths of each child. When children feel valued for who they are, they become more confident and motivated to explore their own paths without fear of judgment or comparison. Part 5. The myth of parental perfection. As parents, we all strive to be the perfect role models in our children's eyes. We want them to see us as strong individuals, always with the right answers, and never making mistakes. But does this perfection truly exist, or is it a myth that parents unintentionally place on their shoulders? And does pursuing this perfection genuinely benefit our children? This was something Lisa had to confront when she realized that creating the image of a perfect mother had unknowingly distanced her from her children. Lisa was a mother who always tried to perfect everything. She managed the household, took care of her children, and always wanted everything to run flawlessly. However, one evening, while preparing dinner for the family, she accidentally dropped a glass of water on the kitchen floor. It seemed like a minor incident, but in that moment, Lisa felt stressed and let out a rude remark. Her children, standing at the kitchen door, witnessed the incident and were surprised to see their mother make a mistake and show a moment of weakness. At first, Lisa felt deeply embarrassed. She always believed she had to maintain the image of a perfect mother in her children's eyes, and this seemed to shatter that image. But after calming down, Lisa realized this could be a valuable opportunity to teach her children about being human. She decided to admit to her children, "Mom is human too. And I also have moments when I make mistakes." This admission did not diminish her image in her children's eyes. On the contrary, it created a new sense of connection. The children began to see their mother as a normal person, with moments of weakness like anyone else. From that moment on, they started sharing more of their worries and mistakes with her, no longer afraid of being judged or feeling they had to live up to an impossible standard. Consequences of chasing perfection, creating unnecessary pressure on parents themselves. When parents constantly try to appear perfect, they unintentionally create immense pressure for themselves. Every small mistake, every moment of weakness becomes a stain in their own eyes. This leads to stress, exhaustion, and even self-blame. Parents may start to feel they aren't good enough if they can't maintain that perfect image all the time. Lisa once felt enormous pressure trying to maintain her image in front of her children. Every time she made a mistake, she would blame herself and worry that her children would lose respect for her. But she didn't realize that it was her pursuit of perfection that was causing her to become increasingly distant from her children. Creating distance between parents and children. When parents always act perfect, children may feel that their parents are unreachable. They might hesitate to share their mistakes or worries for fear of being compared to their parents' perfection. This leads to children keeping their feelings to themselves, unable to express their true selves, and gradually creating a distance between parent and child. Lisa noticed that after admitting her mistake, her children began to share more about the things they found difficult. Before, they always thought their mother was someone who never made mistakes, and that made them reluctant to open up about their own imperfections in life. Teaching children that perfection is the goal to achieve. One of the most significant consequences of chasing perfection is that parents unintentionally teach their children that they, too, must be perfect. When children see their parents never admitting to mistakes, they may believe they have to do everything perfectly to be accepted. This creates immense pressure, making children feel inadequate when they make mistakes. Marcus Aurelius, one of the great Stoic philosophers, once said, "Perfection does not exist. What matters is that we learn from our mistakes." This is a core principle of Stoic philosophy, accepting that no one is perfect and that mistakes are inevitable in life. What matters is how we face and learn from them to grow. Parents need to recognize that admitting mistakes is not only an act of humility, but also an opportunity to teach their children about personal growth. When parents acknowledge that they can make mistakes, they create a safe environment where children feel comfortable expressing themselves without fear of judgment. This helps children develop a healthy attitude towards mistakes, seeing them as opportunities to learn and improve, rather than sources of shame or insecurity. How to be a realistic parent without being perfect. Admit your mistakes in front of your children. When parents acknowledge that they can make mistakes, they not only teach their children humility, but also help them understand that no one is perfect. Admitting mistakes makes parents seem genuine and approachable. Children will learn that mistakes are not bad, but opportunities to grow and improve. After Lisa admitted to her children that she had said something rude in a moment of stress, she explained, "Mom has stressful moments too, and I'll learn to control myself better." This helped her children understand that their mother was also in a learning process, which made them feel more at ease sharing their mistakes. Create an environment that encourages admitting and learning from mistakes. A healthy family is not one without mistakes, but one where everyone feels comfortable admitting their mistakes and learning from them. Parents should encourage their children to talk about their struggles while teaching them how to face and overcome those challenges. When children feel they can admit mistakes without being judged, they will become more confident and develop the ability to learn and improve independently. Accept that perfection is not the ultimate goal. In life, no one can achieve perfection, and this applies to parenting as well. Instead of trying to be perfect, parents should focus on being realistic, understanding, and empathetic with their children. What matters is creating an environment where both parents and children can grow, learn, and mature from their mistakes. Chasing perfection not only creates pressure on parents, but also negatively impacts their children's development. In the journey of raising children, the key is not to be perfect, but to know how to admit mistakes, learn from them, and create a safe environment for children to grow. Marcus Aurelius taught us that mistakes are a natural part of life, and the most important thing is how we face and overcome them. From this illusion of perfection, let's uncover an even more important secret within families. Part 6. Family Secrets: When to Share and When to Hold Back. One quiet afternoon, while Lisa was cleaning out her family's attic, she stumbled upon an old, dusty box. Inside the box, among old photographs and mementos, Lisa found a letter from her grandfather, a letter she had never seen before. The letter revealed a family secret that her entire lineage had tried to hide for years. Her grandfather had made a serious mistake in his youth, one that, if detailed, could shatter the perfect image his grandchildren had built up. Lisa faced a difficult decision. Should she share this secret with her children? How could she tell the story without damaging their admiration for their grandfather? She wondered if some family secrets should remain hidden forever, or if every truth must come to light. For several days, Lisa couldn't stop thinking about the letter. She felt she was bearing a heavy responsibility. As a mother, she believed in the value of honesty, but did that mean revealing everything regardless of the consequences? She worried that recounting the story might diminish the admiration her children had for their grandfather, a figure they saw as a symbol of resilience and integrity. However, deep down, Lisa understood that the truth could hold valuable lessons. She herself had learned a great deal from her own mistakes and those of her family, and she wanted her children to have the chance to learn from the past as well. But what would happen if this truth made her children lose faith in their grandfather, a man they deeply respected? After many restless nights, Lisa decided to share the story with her children, but in a different way. She chose not to tell the full details of her grandfather's mistake. Instead, she focused on the lesson he learned from his experience. Lisa opted for a simple narrative, avoiding intricate details that could damage their image of him. As Lisa began the story, she saw her children's eyes filled with curiosity and empathy. Instead of feeling disappointed or shocked as she had feared, they showed understanding and compassion. They asked many questions about the lessons their grandfather had learned, and Lisa felt relieved to see that when told thoughtfully, the truth not only helped them understand their grandfather better, but also showed them that even the people they admire the most can make mistakes and learn from them. The dangers of sharing everything, protecting children's mental well-being. One of the main reasons to consider withholding a family secret is to protect children's mental well-being. Children, though curious and intelligent, are not always equipped to understand and process the complex realities of adult life. Sharing too much about past difficulties could make them feel anxious, unsafe, or even lose trust in those they love. In Lisa's case, she understood that if she revealed all the details of her grandfather's mistake, her children might no longer view him with the same respect. This could cause unnecessary harm to their young minds, which is why Lisa chose to tell only part of the truth while still preserving her children's emotions. Keeping secrets that could cause unnecessary harm. Some family secrets, if revealed, can cause unnecessary harm. Truths related to serious moral failings, major conflicts, or ethical dilemmas from the past can disrupt the bond between generations. In these cases, holding back certain secrets might be the best way to maintain harmony and stability in the family. For Lisa, she recognized that holding back part of the story was essential to protect her children's image of their grandfather. While he had made a mistake, it was a part of life that didn't necessarily need to be shared in detail with future generations. Clarifying the purpose of sharing. Before deciding to share a family secret, parents should ask themselves, what is the purpose of sharing this? If the aim is to impart a valuable lesson or help children better understand their family, then sharing may be necessary. However, if the purpose is merely to unburden oneself, without any real benefit to the child, then perhaps that secret should remain undisclosed. In Lisa's case, she carefully weighed the reasons for telling her children about their grandfather's mistake. Her goal wasn't to cause disappointment, but to teach them that everyone makes mistakes, and what matters most is learning and growing from them. When to share family secrets. When the secret holds valuable lessons. There are family secrets that, when shared, can help children gain deeper insights into life and learn from the experiences of previous generations. Stories of resilience, overcoming hardship, or dealing with past mistakes can be a great source of inspiration for young ones. In Lisa's case, she chose to share her grandfather's story, not to harm her children, but to teach them about strength and facing challenges. Through their grandfather's story, Lisa's children came to understand that anyone can make mistakes, and the key is how we learn and grow from them. When children are mature enough to understand and process information. Sharing family secrets also depends heavily on the age and maturity of the children. Older children, with more developed critical thinking and deeper life understanding, might be ready to hear more complex stories about their family's past. However, with younger children, sharing overly complex secrets could cause confusion and anxiety. Lisa decided to share her grandfather's story when her children were old enough to understand that no one is perfect. She believed that at this age, her children had the ability to empathize and learn from the story she was telling. When to hold back family secrets. To protect children's mental health. Lisa recognized that revealing the entire truth of her grandfather's mistake might damage her children's perception of him and cause unnecessary emotional distress. Children need time to grow emotionally before they can handle complex truths, when the secret could cause irreparable harm. Sometimes sharing certain family secrets could severely disrupt relationships or instill negative impressions of family members. In these cases, keeping the secret can be a way to protect family ties and emotional stability. To clarify the intent behind sharing Lisa's ultimate decision to share the story wasn't based on a desire to vent her feelings, but to provide valuable life lessons for her children. She understood the need to balance the lessons to be taught with the emotional well-being of her family. Applying Stoic philosophy to family secrets. Stoic philosophy teaches us about self-control and the wisdom of silence. Epictetus once said, "Silence is the strength of the wise." This means that not everything must be said, and not every secret needs to be shared. The decision to reveal or keep a secret is not merely a matter of ethics, it's also about how we build and maintain relationships within our families. We must learn to think before we speak, understand the purpose of sharing, and always prioritize the well-being of our children. In doing so, we can preserve family bonds and help our children grow in a healthy and safe environment. Family secrets, when shared thoughtfully, can provide valuable lessons. However, it's essential to know how to weigh and choose what to share and what to keep. From here, we will transition to another key aspect of parenting, those invisible expectations that parents often place on their children without realizing it. Part 7. Unspoken expectations. The invisible pressure. Lisa was always proud of her successful business career. She had built a thriving company and believed that her son, with his intelligence and creativity, could achieve similar success in this field. However, what Lisa didn't realize was that through her conversations, her praises of successful business people, and stories of triumph in the industry, she had unintentionally placed an invisible burden on her son, a set of expectations she had never clearly expressed. Through everyday conversations, her son gradually sensed that his mother wanted him to follow a business path, even though he was passionate about art and dreamed of becoming an artist. Although Lisa had never directly said he should follow her wishes, her words of praise and the stories she shared subtly suggested that this was the path he ought to take. Expectations don't have to be explicitly stated to create pressure. Sometimes they manifest in seemingly harmless stories, in compliments for others, or even through a parent's expectant gaze. Children can feel this, and gradually they start believing they must meet these unspoken expectations, even when it's not the path they want to take. In Lisa's case, although she never directly asked her son to pursue a business career, through her stories and praises, the boy began to feel that this was what his mother expected of him. He worried that if he pursued art, he would disappoint her. This unspoken expectation created an invisible pressure on Lisa's son. He felt torn between his personal dreams and his mother's expectations. He started feeling pressured to make a future decision, not based on his passion, but on the desire to please his mother. This led him to lose confidence and feel lost. Lisa's story is not uncommon. Many parents around the world, though well-intentioned, unintentionally impose their expectations on their children. They want their children to succeed, not for selfish reasons, but out of love. However, failing to communicate these expectations clearly, allowing them to silently permeate, can lead to severe psychological and emotional consequences for children. Lisa had a wake-up call when she noticed her son growing increasingly hesitant about choosing his career path. He seemed less enthusiastic when talking about art, and began speaking more about business opportunities that he wasn't genuinely interested in. One evening, while they were discussing the future, Lisa's son suddenly asked, "Mom, would you be upset if I didn't go into business?" This question startled Lisa. She had never thought her son was facing such immense pressure. She suddenly realized that even without speaking it out loud, her expectations had unintentionally influenced his decisions. According to Stoic philosophy, everyone has their own path in life. and we should not impose our desires or expectations on others, even on our children. Epictetus, a renowned Stoic philosopher, once said, "We should not force others to live according to our desires." This highlights the importance of respecting the freedom and personal choices of our children, allowing them to grow in the way that makes them most comfortable. Parents can love and guide their children, but they shouldn't force them to follow the path they desire. Instead of imposing, parents should play the role of supporters and companions, helping their children recognize and develop their strengths without being restricted by others' expectations. After realizing the negative impact of unspoken expectations, Lisa decided to change her approach. She sat down with her son and spoke openly. "Son, I love you no matter what path you choose. I only want you to be happy and to pursue what truly makes you passionate, not for me or anyone else." These words made Lisa's son feel relieved. He no longer had to worry about disappointing his mother if he didn't pursue business. Instead, he began to feel more confident about following the artistic path he had loved for so long. One of the important things Lisa learned from this experience was the difference between encouraging and imposing. Encouraging means supporting children in developing their abilities and interests, helping them gain confidence in pursuing their dreams. Imposing, on the other hand, is when parents try to steer their children's decisions based on personal expectations, even if not explicitly stated. Encouragement fosters a sense of freedom and trust, while imposition can lead to feelings of being restricted and pressured. Stoic philosophy encourages free development and individual respect, allowing each person to find their own path without the weight of others' expectations. Signs of unspoken expectations. Parents may not realize that they're placing excessive expectations on their children until they notice the following signs. Hesitation in making decisions. If a child starts to show hesitation or anxiety about the future, it may be a sign that they feel pressured by their parents' expectations. Loss of interest in personal hobbies. When children begin to give up their passions to please others, it's an indication that they're facing an unspoken imposition from their parents. Lack of confidence and fear of failure. Children may feel they are never good enough to meet their parents' expectations, leading to a lack of confidence and fear of failure. How to alleviate invisible pressure? Open communication. One of the best ways to alleviate pressure on children is through open and honest communication. Parents should ask their children what they genuinely want and listen to their opinions without judgment. Provide opportunities for self-discovery. Instead of setting expectations, parents should provide opportunities for children to explore and develop freely. This not only helps them build confidence, but also allows them to find their true passion without external pressure. Respect their decisions. Respecting children's choices is a crucial step in helping them feel free and responsible for their decisions. Regardless of the path they choose, parents need to show support and trust in their abilities. Lisa and her son's story is a valuable lesson about the importance of not imposing expectations on children. Stoic philosophy teaches us that each person has their own path, and a parent's role isn't to force their children to pursue their own dreams, but to help them discover and follow their passions. Unspoken expectations can create invisible pressure, but through open communication and respect, parents can help their children grow confidently and independently. From invisible expectations, we will now explore another challenge many families face: parents unintentionally revealing favoritism among their children. Part 8. The Order of Love. Avoiding favoritism. Like many parents, Lisa believed that she loved both of her children equally, with no favoritism between them. However, during a family dinner, she inadvertently exposed a subtle sign of bias. While discussing school, Lisa praised her daughter in front of her son. "Sweetheart, I'm so proud of your hard work. You did much better than your brother." This simple statement, although brief and unintentional, left Lisa's son with feelings of pain and disappointment. He felt overlooked and unrecognized, especially as the direct comparison with his sister made him feel inadequate in his mother's eyes. Favoritism in families is a sensitive issue that many parents unintentionally encounter. Lisa did not mean to hurt her son, but her words created competition and jealousy between the siblings. From that moment, Lisa's son felt he was no longer the most loved, leading him to behave more jealously toward his sister instead of harmoniously as he once had. Whether intentional or not, favoritism can cause serious consequences in sibling relationships and weaken the parent-child bond. Children are highly sensitive to emotional signals and recognition from their parents, and any comparison or judgment can lead to deep psychological wounds. One of the greatest consequences of favoritism is jealousy and unhealthy competition among siblings. When a child feels that they are being compared unfavorably to a sibling, they may begin to feel resentful, lacking confidence, and even feeling abandoned. This doesn't just affect their relationship with their parents, but can also damage the bond between siblings. In Lisa's case, her son felt that, no matter how hard he tried, his mother would always compare him to his sister and praise her more. This created unnecessary tension between the siblings, and Lisa's son increasingly felt isolated, leading him to withdraw and share less with his family. Frequent comparisons often cause children to question their self-worth. Why does she always praise my sister? Am I not good enough? These negative thoughts can lead to long-term emotional damage, impacting how children perceive themselves, especially during crucial developmental stages. After feeling unrecognized by his mother, Lisa's son began to keep these negative feelings inside. He didn't dare express his hurt, fearing he would further disappoint his mother. Instead, he chose silence, concealing his true emotions and gradually feeling more distant from his family. Seneca, the renowned Stoic philosopher, once said, "Every person has their own worth." This emphasizes that in every situation, people have their unique strengths and values, which cannot be easily compared or judged against others. In parenting, it's crucial to recognize that each child is an individual with distinct capabilities, interests, and potential. Rather than comparing and setting standards between siblings, parents should focus on encouraging each child to grow according to their abilities. This not only fosters a harmonious family environment, but also helps children feel confident and proud of themselves, instead of always feeling pressured to meet someone else's achievements to be loved. Fairness in love. A parent's love should never be compared or divided based on who performs better. Each child needs to feel their parents' love and recognition equally, regardless of their actions or achievements. Lisa realized that love cannot be measured or compared. She decided to apologize to her son for her unintended comparison and explain that she loves both children equally, regardless of their achievements or abilities. Lisa emphasized that she is proud of both children, acknowledging their different talents and interests. How to avoid favoritism. To prevent favoritism in love, parents need to be mindful of how they communicate and express their feelings toward their children. Here are some practical steps parents can take to avoid favoritism and create a healthy, harmonious family environment. Recognize the bias. First, parents must be aware of moments when they may unconsciously show favoritism. This requires self-reflection and attentiveness to their children's emotions to adjust their approach. Focus on individual strengths. Instead of comparing, praise and encourage each child's unique strengths. Each child has different abilities and talents, and the key is to help them grow in their way. Create space for each child. Spend dedicated time with each child, ensuring they feel cared for and heard. This helps strengthen the bond between parents and children, making them feel secure and confident in expressing themselves. Avoid direct comparisons. Refrain from direct comparisons between children, especially in everyday situations. Even well-meaning comparisons can cause emotional harm and feelings of jealousy. Encourage unity. Rather than fostering competition, encourage children to support and help each other. This not only creates family unity, but also teaches children to respect and cooperate with others. Reconnecting with your child. After realizing her mistake, Lisa decided to have a straightforward conversation with her son. She apologized for her unintended comparison and praised both children for their efforts. Lisa also encouraged her son to share his feelings and listen to his worries that he had kept inside. This conversation helped her son feel more comfortable, and gradually he began to open up. He realized that his mother wasn't showing favoritism intentionally, but had unintentionally said something that hurt him. As a result, their relationship became stronger, and her son's confidence improved. Favoritism, whether intentional or not, can leave lasting emotional scars on children. Parents need to be aware of how they show love and strive to treat all their children fairly. Love is not something that can be measured or compared, and encouraging each child to grow in their way is essential. And finally, let's explore an invaluable secret in raising children: the power of silence. Part 9. The Wisdom of Silence. After making several mistakes in raising her children, Lisa learned a priceless lesson. Silence can be more powerful than any words. In the past, whenever her children quarreled, she would immediately step in, believing that as a mother, it was her duty to resolve every issue and maintain family harmony. However, there was a time when her children were fiercely arguing over a toy, and just as Lisa was about to intervene as usual, she stopped. She decided to try something new. Remain silent and observe. Instead of rushing to intervene, Lisa chose to watch and let her children find their solution. At first, the children continued arguing, but after a short while, they began to adjust their behavior. In the end, they managed to compromise and share the toy without needing Lisa's help. Lisa was amazed to find that her silence had allowed her children to develop problem-solving skills on their own. Instead of feeling frustrated or impatient, Lisa felt proud to witness her children becoming more independent and learning to handle conflicts without relying on her intervention. Silence often carries more value than words. In many situations, when parents intervene excessively in their children's lives, it can inadvertently diminish the children's confidence and independence. When parents are always the ones solving every problem, children may feel dependent and lack the ability to face challenges on their own. This not only stifles their independent thinking, but also creates pressure on the parents. Lisa realized that silence wasn't about neglect or lack of concern. Instead, it was a purposeful approach that allowed her children to learn and develop crucial skills. When children are given the chance to solve their problems, they develop logical thinking, gain confidence in their decision-making, and grow more self-reliant. In Stoic philosophy, Marcus Aurelius, a philosopher and emperor, once said, "Silence holds more power than words." This applies not only to social relationships, but also serves as a valuable lesson in parenting. Knowing when to remain silent helps children build independence and creates space for them to find their solutions. According to Stoic principles, silence is not about avoidance or indifference, but a form of patience and self-control. When parents choose silence, they give their children the opportunity to face challenges and difficulties independently. This helps children develop problem-solving skills and emotional resilience. One key lesson Lisa learned was that silence not only helped her children develop self-reliance, but also improved the relationship between her and her children. Previously, Lisa would constantly intervene in every minor conflict, which made her children feel controlled and unable to make their own choices. However, after choosing silence in certain situations, her children began to feel freer to handle difficulties independently, which fostered a new bond between mother and children. When parents know when to keep silent, they allow their children to trust themselves more. This helps build a relationship based on mutual respect, where children no longer feel compelled to follow their parents' opinions in every situation. Instead, they feel empowered to make their own decisions and take responsibility for their actions. Children must learn the vital skill of problem solving. This helps them develop logical thinking and builds their confidence in life. When parents constantly intervene, children miss opportunities to face challenges and cultivate independence. By keeping silent, Lisa had given her children the chance to find solutions themselves. This was a significant step in their growth, helping them develop critical thinking skills and boosting their confidence in facing difficult situations in the future. Aside from fostering problem-solving abilities, silence also plays an important role in teaching children to manage their emotions. When parents choose silence in stressful situations, they create a calm space that allows children to self-regulate their emotions. This helps them learn to control their feelings and avoid overreacting when faced with difficulties. In Lisa's case, she noticed that when her children argued over the toy, her silence helped them learn to control their emotions. Instead of continuing to argue and depending on their mother to intervene, they adjusted their behavior and peacefully resolved the situation. Stoic philosophy emphasizes the importance of patience and self-control. When parents choose silence in tense situations, they not only teach their children problem-solving skills, but also the value of patience. Silence is not a sign of weakness or passivity, but an expression of self-control and wisdom. By choosing to remain silent instead of intervening immediately, Lisa learned to be more patient and trust her children's ability to self-regulate. This not only helped her stay calm during stressful situations, but also helped her build a family environment based on respect and trust. One of the greatest benefits of silence in parenting is that it helps children develop independence and maturity. When children are empowered to solve problems themselves, they learn to trust their own abilities and gain confidence in life. This not only prepares them to face current challenges, but also equips them for a future full of potential. Lisa realized that silence not only reduced her stress in raising her children, but also helped them grow into independent and confident individuals. Her children learned to face conflicts and difficulties in life on their own, making them stronger both emotionally and mentally. Silence, when used wisely, can become a powerful tool in parenting. Parents don't always need to intervene or offer advice. Sometimes the best thing parents can do is remain silent, listen, and allow their children to find their own solutions. So, we've explored 9 common mistakes parents often make in raising their children. From oversharing and favoritism to the wisdom of silence, these are all valuable lessons. Now, let's move to the conclusion and draw important insights from Stoic philosophy. Conclusion: the journey to becoming a better parent. Parenting truly is a long and challenging journey where there's no perfect path and no absolute formula. We can try our best to give our children the best, but along the way, there will inevitably be mistakes. However, what matters is how we learn from these mistakes, improve ourselves, and become better parents. Stoic philosophy teaches us about acceptance and overcoming difficulties in life. Through each mistake, instead of blaming ourselves, we learn to step back, observe, and adjust to find the right way for our children. From sharing financial burdens excessively, handling family conflicts, to practicing wise silence, each lesson in this journey aims toward a single goal: helping our children grow into independent, confident, and happy individuals. Parents don't need to be perfect. Perfection is just a myth. And in fact, acknowledging our own mistakes can make us more relatable to our children. What's important is knowing how to listen, understand, and find the best solutions. Not through hasty words or actions, but through patience and silence at the right time. Start today. From the smallest moments, you can change the way you interact with and raise your children. Understand that you don't always have to solve every problem or immediately impart every lesson to your children. Sometimes, stepping back, staying silent, and letting them develop on their own is the best way to help them grow comprehensively. Life will never stop presenting challenges, but with the Stoic philosophy, we can face every difficulty with calmness and confidence. And through each challenge and each decision, you will realize that you, too, are growing and maturing alongside your children. Be a shining example for your children, not just through words, but also in how you face life. As Marcus Aurelius once said, "Do not worry about what you cannot control. Instead, focus on what you can change." Parents cannot control everything in their children's lives, but what they can do is create a safe, loving, and supportive environment that encourages independence. Let the journey of being a parent be one of learning, understanding, and growth. Your children will feel the love and guidance from you, not because you always control everything, but because you allow them to explore and face the world on their own. And in those moments, they will grow not just in height, but also in their thinking and emotions. So right now, start with a small step, reflect on the past mistakes, and together find new, smarter, and gentler ways to guide your children. Because after all, it's not just your children who are growing up. You too are on a journey to becoming the best parent version of yourself. If you found this video helpful and it offered you new perspectives on parenting, please take a moment to share this video to spread these valuable lessons to other parents. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you won't miss upcoming videos, where we'll continue to learn, exchange ideas, and explore smarter, gentler, and more effective parenting methods based on Stoic philosophy. Every day is an opportunity to improve yourself and your family. Be a part of a community of dedicated parents who always strive to bring the best to their children, not just through actions, but through a profound life philosophy. Follow today, and together, let's continue this meaningful journey.